Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Mowat, Gushue, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at theGrandSlamOfCurling.com. Let's rock!
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome to therockshop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the Rip Berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk? And I'll add spinach and ginger. And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the Power Booster and the Collagen Booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster Juice, freshly made, your way.
That's life. That's what all the people say.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, custom chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster juice, freshly made your way.
Hello and welcome to the Saville Shootout here at the Saville Center in Edmonton, Alberta. The playoffs are here, and we're thrilled to bring you this quarterfinal matchup here between Team Serena Gray Withers and Team Kaitlyn Laws. Marty Thompson and Sean Joyce with you on the broadcast. Sean, I know you caught the game last night with Kaitlyn Laws. This will certainly be a favorite in this event. Now, Serena Gray Withers, will get to her and her team's ability, but obviously a lot of focus on Team Laws coming into this event as they look to have a good season and ramp up towards the Scotties and the trials.
Yeah, and a little different approach for the Laws team, I think, this year. For the last couple of years, they've haven't played quite as much as some of the other teams. It was part of their plan. They knew that they're all young ladies and they were involved in starting families. There were a few babies had. There's even a last name change I see here. Kristen, it's McEwish on our program, but it's Gordon on her jacket. You see there right at the bottom of the screen. So this was the year that, this is the year that everything matters. So this was their big focus. They're going to be going a little harder this year in hopes for grabbing that trial spot. And they're off to a good start, 4-0 here in this event.
They certainly are. They're 4-0. That means they get the hammer in this quarterfinal. No draw to the button as the team with the best record attains that advantage. As we have lead stones coming here. Zoe Cinnamon throwing those for Team Serena Gray Withers. They're 3-2. They went into the games yesterday needing to win both. Or sorry, my apologies. They're 3-1. They went in 1-1 yesterday. They took down Team Plett. Really had them on the ropes, played quite well. I was fortunate enough to watch that game yesterday, and then they won their game last night, so enough to earn a playoff spot themselves. And Sean, for those who don't know Team Serena Gray, where there's certainly a name to watch out for and a squad to watch out for, as they have multiple junior championships now. Obviously, the world they did quite well at the World University Games last year, won bronze. Certainly a team on the up and up.
Yeah, you would have to think so. You expect them to be at the Alberta Provincials, and now getting to Alberta Provincials is one thing. On the women's side, that's a tough province. So it's one of those things. Historically, it's been that thing. There's always one or two provinces out there where you can be a really good team, and yet nobody in the country ever gets a chance to hear about you because you're in such a deep field. That could be some of what they're going to run into, but this is a good team. I had a chance to see them a couple of times last year. This is my first look at them this year. They're certainly not scared to play any of the shots.
Certainly not. That would be my flag from the game yesterday. A very aggressive team. They play out of the Saville Center. They know the ice really well, and they were really leaning into it in the games I've seen. Certainly an aggressive bunch. We have Lindsay Burgess throwing second stones.
Yeah, this start really has been indicative of everything. Every game I've seen this weekend, doesn't matter who is playing, everybody's going right from the first end, and you like to see that.
Sweeper's calling this hot, but also trying to keep it straight. They'll pick this out, and they will do just that. And a really nice roll from the shooter out there towards the wings. As mentioned, Team Laws with the hammer. Selena Negevin calling the game today.
Yeah, there was some discussion of that last night. Again, last night I saw them, and they were playing in this format last night as well. And my understanding of it is, from what I heard through the chat, a few other things, that this was something that they decided to do after going to one of the sweeping summits, perhaps it was, and determined that Kaitlyn Laws is a pretty good sweeper, and they thought this might maximize the lineup.
Of course, Kaitlyn Laws is a mixed doubles gold medalist, certainly a versatile player in this sport. And years of sweeping to boot, of course. Looked like that stone just came up a little bit light, and Serena Gray Withers looking to come around the center guard, it looks like, Sean.
Yeah, it was a good call. I mean, play the shot to come around the corner, but that's always one of the problems. That practice session before the game is so geared towards that draw to the button, and there's no draw to the button in this game because it's determined by the seeding, but most of these teams will not deviate from their pregame practice. So now when you have to throw a draw to the corner in the first end, it's a bit of a guess what that rock's going to do. She comes up short, and it gives the Gray Withers team a chance to use the center guard. Coming around from the wide side too. This is, it's a veteran move. You make sure you come around from the wide side, and the theory being is if it undercurls a little bit, you're not leaving the hit and roll behind the corner.
And a nice little finish on that stone. Nice little carve to bring that to the top four. Now what do you see as their options? I guess ripping both the reds is the call with a bit of weight.
Yeah, the center guard is a problem anyway. So you could play the freeze. I mean, she talked about it, but you get both of these off the center line, and really the two rocks at the back could be used to help you. In that staggered corner guard, if you get a chance to use it, is still good. It's just you need to deal with the middle first.
Jocelyn Peterman, Red Deer native, throwing some big weight down the middle, and they will get the problem rock. That red does roll exposed over to the left side of our screen if we're looking at the left pane.
Yeah, still better. I mean, it's open, and it's open on the side now where she could play the hit and roll to the corner too.
Quite indicative of Serena Gray Withers' game this weekend, is really attacking and not being afraid to put more rocks in the middle.
Yeah, I'm not in love with this call though. This is one where I'd be tempted to go to the other side. If you could Christmas tree it, then it's a little tougher for her to do anything with that shot stone that's wide open right now. I know they did just play this turn, so she feels like she knows it, but
Catherine Clifford throwing third stones for Gray Withers. Calling just a little up weight, as you can see. It does seem like it's certainly running wider, which would be indicative of a stone that has a bit extra weight. And that slides to the back and makes a bit of a wall.
yeah, she won't be happy with that.
This looks like a hack waiter to push this red stone back in towards that wall, Sean.
Yeah, I thought she'd play the roll to the corner here. Try to get the play away from the center line.
Of course, we got 3 other quarterfinals in action here at the Saville Center. Unji Gim taking on Graceland Richards. Carrie Anderson taking on Eubene Park. Anderson's been on fire so far. And Rui Wang, the Chinese team, another team that's been playing quite well. They're taking on Tabitha Peterson. Keep you posted on those games as they progress. Peterman working hard to keep this rock straight, trying to get a decent chunk of that red stone. Last minute carve, and they will push it towards the bundle, and looks like they will be shot stone.
Yeah, important if you were going to play it that way to stay, right there. You roll even 2 inches to the outside, it would have left room to roll underneath. So a delicate shot here for the Gray Withers team. They've got to get right to the nose. They have to pass it by those reds at the back. You can't afford to jam it this time.
As I mentioned, this team plays out of this club. They should know this ice better than most teams, if not all teams of this event. These are those types of shots that have the expertise. And knowing the ice really goes a long way. Zoe Cinnamon quick to keep this rock straight.
Yeah. Looked to have more line early, but it doesn't have the same amount of weight as we just saw. I don't know if she's going to get it out.
It's not a bad shot to Tolerant. Still made it. Really close to that guard. Quick to keep this rock straight.
Yeah, you would not have looked at that rock before and said, "Oh, there's no way you can overroll line this early," but it doesn't have the same amount of weight as we just saw. Maybe just to the hacks. Cold. It actually rolls out far enough to the other side that there's room to get back underneath the guard.
Selena Negaman's final stone of this end as we see both teams focusing play at this sort of top 4, top 8 range, trying to secure a nice rock fully buried behind the guard. As mentioned, Team Laws does have the hammer here. And it looks like this will be another rock that will be just over curling ever so slightly and put it back just about where the other stone was the previous Serena Gray Weather shot. But now it skips stones and another attempt to try to make this clean.
Yeah, this is to get that same amount of finish. She, before you head down to the other end, ask her how hard she threw that last one, because that's the only way you're getting to the inside on this one. They're pretty much edge to edge, but really good finish on the last one. Now, I mean, the Yellowstone that she pushed on the last one, that's the one still sitting in play at the back line. The overhead kind of looks like it should be out, but nobody's kicked it off yet.
What's wrong with the little tripping hazard back there? Just to keep you honest, keep you on your toes.
Speaking of a tripping hazard, somebody just tripped over the cord.
We'll be back here shortly, I'm sure, from the Saville Center. We'll quickly recap on the men's side the quarterfinalists that are in action. Richard Guzen's taking on Johnson Tao, another local team there in Edmonton. Matthew Blanford's taking on Dustin Kaltoff. Andreas Hartstad's taking on Cameron DeYoung. And then Evan Van Amsterdam plays Scott Dunham. Those are all quarterfinalists. And it's been quite an event here thus far at the Saville Center. Of course, lots of quality teams, both abroad, but lots of good Canadian talent.
Just a few production issues at our side. I know everybody can still hear us, but we have no picture. The stream's still going live, but it's a few seconds behind what we're talking about.
Okay, fair enough. We may will just take a quick break and wait for this to resume. Yeah, we'll be right back. Okay, looks like our view is back, but the end has completed. Or my apologies, we're still in play. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties, but it looks like at least Sean and I are back on. So it looks like this will be final stone here, Sean. We're just sort of watching along as again that battle for that spot in the top four has completed, and it looks like it's just a draw for one here for Kaitlyn, a little force. Final stone here, out turn draw for Kaitlyn Laws. A little bit of pressure here, shooting against 3 early on, but full 8 foot should be enough. And they've got a bit of backing on this out turn side.
Yeah, nobody's touched it yet.
Really need to come over.
They're trying to help it curl now. It's got to get to the backing. I don't know if she comes right to the back one if she scores. She doesn't.
So it looks like that is a steal of 1 for Serena Gray-Withers. We will be back with the second end as Team Laws retains the hammer after this.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Welcome back here to the Saville Shootout here. Quarterfinal time between Serena Gray-Withers and Team Laws. Gray-Withers with the steal of 1 in that end. Marty Thompson and Sean Joyce with you here for the second. It looks like an exposed rock, just ready to ready for the guard to come here from Team Laws. But Sean, that was just a difficult draw at the end, obviously, to come up a little heavy from Kaitlyn Laws.
Yeah, well, and as much as they saw the Gray-Withers team play that draw a few times through the end, I don't know that Laws played it at all. She might have played it in practice. Of course, the speed's a little different once you get to game action, and that's the one thing we've seen all weekend long. You alluded to it on one of the earlier draws at end. If you're a little up, they don't take that big hard finish, and she wasn't able to get to the backing either.
This was Team Laws' first steal given up this event. As we mentioned, 4-0, quite a run. 8-1 over Richards, 6-5 over Reese Hansen, 10-3 over Hansen, and then last night 5-3 over Skrillik in a game. I know that was pretty neck and neck. Certainly a good event from this team early on, and an uncharacteristic steal to give up.
Yeah, the game last night, I had a chance to be on the call for that one. That had the feel of a playoff game. Of course, it was must win for the Skrillik team, and they weren't able to come through on that one. But for Laws, they were playing for this last rock advantage. They were playing to be one of the top 4 seeds. You lose that game, you're 3-1 and into the logjam of tied teams. And not a deuce scored. It was back and forth singles. Like it was a tough game.
Yeah, the really the only difference was in the fourth end when Kaitlyn Law stole one. Otherwise, it's ones all the way down the board.
Yeah.
Lead stones here. Kristen Gordon, 9-time Scotty participant. Looks like she's going to be coming down. Looks to go maybe just on top of that red stone that floated just a little too deep for Team Grey Withers.
There's the difference. You can see the amount of curl that rock has on it when it's got that front house weight. Anything to the back just rides out on the corner for a long time.
Seem to be seeing that with hits as well, Sean. Like you kind of get up on a hit and they just seem to float on teams early on in the event, but it seems like they've corrected a bit on that.
Yeah, I mean it's we used to think of it in terms of it being the ice, and we now understand it's not really the ice, it's the rocks. So, and I've got outstanding technicians here at the Saville Center, so they'll condition these stones before the event starts. And what that happens with that rougher surface, it allows them to bite. But the thing about it is that they don't really start to curl. It's not so much a spot on the ice as they don't really start to curl big until they start to slow down. When they start to slow down, that running edge grabs a little more and then they start to curl. So if you're that little bit stronger, the up weight, everything runs very straight until it slows down. And then there's big finish. That's why you'll hear, the the proverbial talking heads, people like us talk about, well, if it's running straight, it must be heavy because it's running straight. I mean, that's essentially what we've learned over the last few years. If it's not curling, it's got too much weight.
Jocelyn Peterman getting set for her first of two stones, and it looks like she will be instructed to do a little double peel here, get rid of both of these red stones in the front.
Well, I think they're wondering if they can get all three of the reds
true.
over the top.
Yeah, that looks like it's certainly possible. I guess they could jam, but I guess that wouldn't be the worst case scenario.
Yeah, if you take care of all the red stones that are well in front of the tee line on the center line, that's not a bad situation right now.
Big weight required for Canada's mixed doubles Olympian coming up here. Looks awfully close, doesn't it? They do get the jam, but a decent outlook here for this team. That red does stick around on the outside of the 12-foot, it looks like.
Yeah, it's still in play, but I think it's out of the rings.
Hard to say. Wait for the biter stick at the end of the end.
Yeah, there's a few rocks to come before we have to worry about pulling that out.
It's great where there's electing to just sort of protect here, throw a guard up, as we have Lindsay Burgess throwing second stones for this team out of Edmonton. The East Coast import herself, Dalhousie grad.
I'm going to have to get better at reading lips so I can tell what they're saying. But the gesture would suggest that they think she's a little deep.
And you'd be correct for that.
Yeah. You could make a play at trying to get them all, or you could just hit and roll in. Yeah, that's the same two shots I'm looking at. And then I'm looking down at the rock counter, but it's not it's not accurate right now.
If only we all had 8 rocks all the time.
1, 2, 3. Okay, so you got, this is the last of the second stones. Yeah, I think I like the roll behind the corner right now.
Yeah, make something precise. And again, Team Laws does have the hammer in this end. Gave up a steal in the first. A really nice sweep here from Kristen Gordon to try to get a thinner part of this red stone, and they will. Oh, awfully good roll too. Will it gear back ever so slightly? It does. So they have a corner to work with now.
Yeah, even being wide on that roll is fine, because once you're outside the corner guard, now you've put the pressure on Grey Withers. It's hard to ignore a stone on the outside like that, because the yellows are starting to pile up. She can't get back to the middle off of it. That's the key. She's looking at playing the angle run in now to make both yellows go away. She's going to lose her shooter. If you want to keep your shooter, you're probably dead jamming it.
Tricky shot to make here for Kaitlyn Clifford. As mentioned, lots of experience in this team. Won the Best of the West last spring. Bronze at the World University Games. My apologies. This be Kathleen Burgess still throwing here, her second stones. They do manage that now. That Yellowstone just narrowly misses the bundle and will now go out to the other side. Still corner buried, but a little deeper.
Gives the Laws team a chance to do something with those rocks in the middle, and the question is all about the weight they want to play. They maybe want to keep their own stone at the back of the house. I mean, to just wiggle them around a little bit and be able to get that red out, you're going to make the red shot rock likely to do it that way. You could blast it, but then you're losing your yellow. I don't think there was any thought they were taking that wide broom. I think Kaitlyn was just saying, this is draw to the button ice here. What do we need with back line? That red's not going to move very far. But they have to break that freeze so they can get the red out later.
Yeah. They don't necessarily need to move it far, right? Just sort of smudge it around. And
well, yeah, I mean, I think realistically the red's going to be shot after this one, but that yellow, you have to move it anyway, and they don't want to lose it. You could just blast it. You could blast it, kill both of those stones, and probably still get a roll. You might leave some kind of a chance at a double. They're still thinking in terms of the bigger end here.
Selena Negevin with the heavy draw.
She wants to stay close to the nose so she can stay in front of the red one.
We'll carve over to get closer, and that's a pretty good result. Yellow corner frozen on the red, and that red is awfully exposed.
Did leave a very flat double on the yellows at the back. They're close together. That helps. The one she's hitting first is actually the deeper of the two, but she can come into the side of the other one. Doesn't have to move it very far to get it out of the rings.
Catherine Clifford throwing third stones for this team. Her second and final stone. Looks like it's curling towards the nose. They do just bump the yellow out. It looks like, oh, it might be holding on. But a decent attempt. Looks like Kaitlyn Lodge just intimated that it is in.
Yeah.
That could be another crucial biter.
Yeah, have to think it's in if she's playing this stone right now. You play this one, she knows that situation, the center is always available. You got to roll back towards the center line a little bit here. You don't want to roll under the yellow red, but you don't want to leave another chance for the double either.
Negevin's second and final of this second end. This team chasing a big end after giving up a steal of one. The roll, they got to avoid that jam, but they just put themselves in a bit of trouble with that.
Yeah, it's not exactly where you would have liked to have it. Now there's still a problem for Grey Withers. Which yellow? I mean, it's really the only yellow rock she can remove. The guard is probably the right call, but it's not going to be a comfortable one when there's three yellows already in the rings.
Mm-hmm. Sean, would you ever play just sort of pushing that, hitting the Yellowstone and just sort of pushing your red back, and then most importantly, keeping your shooter just glued to the top of the yellow?
I mean, you could. I wouldn't. There's too much risk if you get the lineup wrong. Like if you get to the nose of the yellow, tap it so you stay straight back, red, yellow, and then you leave a little bit of angle on the red. You could leave a possibility where she can squeeze both the reds out. It's just too dangerous right now. If you don't throw, she's probably losing the yellow at the back when she plays the yellow-red combination. And if you put any kind of guard in the way, she doesn't have a chance to play that yellow-red combination. Now, what I would be worried about, because it is Kaitlyn Lawes and she can see an inch of that red stone, is that she might just pick it.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to make sure this guard is dead lined up to the red one. I'm not worried about covering the yellow as much.
Line is crucial on this stone. That's why Burgess is pretty quick to try to bring this over. They've really got to get tighter to the center line here. Looks like maybe a little bit less weight than they anticipated as well. And they will get some decent coverage, it looks like.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Certainly a risky attempt here if they are looking at trying to play off that yellow.
Well, I'm thinking heavy draw on the out turn side and just try to tap it back. It probably eliminates those two yellows at the back of the rings.
But it looks like they're also maybe talking about running that red. Is that what they're...
Well, they're looking at it.
Running this stone that was just thrown.
Yeah, into the two in the house. They'd lose the one at the very back. You're hoping if you're playing that the red that you're running back leaves the rings too.
But that's always possible that it could just roll behind that corner guard too, which would be a little tricky.
Yeah, and the danger to this, if you play this red, you lose the one at the back and this one rolls behind the guard, you're about to get forced because she's going to just nose hit and sit two.
I guess if they ever did make that heavy draw, tap that red back, they might just be sitting the one, maybe two, but it would be hard to remove those yellow stones, right? That would be thrown.
Depending, as long as she got close to the nose, the danger there, neither of these shots is easy. You play that little tap, and if you roll open, you've left a pretty easy double on the yellows, which could leave them buried again. So, at least with this one, we assume she's going to be close on it. You assume that the middle's going to be open. The other option, and we are on Skip's first, she could just rip the guard and say, let's see you make it perfect again.
Both teams have certainly been playing well this weekend here in Edmonton, and some of the shot calling and shot making has been indicative of that in this game. Kaitlyn Lawes looking to pull something out of her bag of tricks here. Awfully close. Makes the spill. Now they get the jam on the other side, but they are sitting two in a pretty nice shape here for Kaitlyn Lawes. That's a great shot.
Yeah,
certainly been
the way they were looking at
this
hitting
weekend
it,
here in Edmonton.
Sitting
some of the
two
shot
out
calling and shot making has been indicative of that in this
downside,
game.
I guess, is
Kaitlyn Lawes
the
looking to
shot
pull
stone
something
stayed
out
in the
of her bag of
court, and
tricks
there's
here.
guard on either
Awfully
side.
close.
She could try to roll behind.
Makes the
They were
spill.
looking to
Now they
run
get
that
the
to the other
jam
side
on
so
the
that
other
the Yellowstone
side.
wouldn't have spilled. It spills into the 8-foot, and it stayed in the port between the two guards.
But it does also give Serena Gray Withers the opportunity to just maybe sort of hit and flop in and make a difficult shot here for Kaitlyn Lawes. And again, a potential another run back if she wants a deuce.
Yeah, even if this is half buried behind the yellow, because of the second shot stone being at the back, she might not be able to go at it direct. If she wants to score two, she would have to play the run back. I think she might just draw.
Final stone for the hometown skipper here in the second end.
Okay, well, I read those lips. She said, whoa, right out of her hand.
A little up.
Or a little out.
Any finish on this red stone, there will be none. So yeah, maybe a little out, maybe a little up, but regardless, not the line they were looking for. And Kaitlyn Lawes has a chance to attack here and get a deuce in the second end. Certainly the first shot from Kaitlyn Laws was a bit of an end saver, gave them an opportunity to score, and here now is another great opportunity. Execute and get 2 points back after that steal in the first. As mentioned, this team is 4-0 in this event so far.
Yeah, the guards just kind of frame this shot up for you. I think if you make the port, you're getting your deuce. I don't think there's any chance you stay straight enough, get by the red guard, and still hit that thin enough to jam. So the guard's not really in play at all. They just more or less frame up the shot for her.
Final stone here in the second end. An out turn from Kaitlyn Laws.
A really positive release, but she is quieter on the weight. She's going to need some finish.
Big carve needed here from Peterman to get this over, and they will just do that with lots of room to roll. Ooh, bit of a lifeline there.
No, it's only one.
It really is. Oh, yeah, I see that now. Oh, shoot. So it will be one for yellow. Difficult result there for Kaitlyn Laws. We'll be back at the third end after this.
That's life. That's what all the people say.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, custom chaos?
One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster juice, freshly made, your way.
We're back here for the third end, the Saville Shootout quarterfinal here between Gray, Withers, and Laws. Marty Thompson and Sean Joyce with you on the call. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Sean, difficult result there. Both skips really throwing one little bit out on that path, and Kaitlyn Laws really was the one that's unfortunately didn't get the benefit of the result she wanted.
Yeah, and it surprised me too because she did throw it quiet. She could afford to get some finish. She gets the inside roll, doesn't hurt her. I would have bet. In fact, I said it as she was getting ready to throw. I didn't think you could get by that red guard tight enough to hit that stone on the outside and jam it at the back. And she proved I was wrong about that. But she's probably not real happy to have proved me wrong in this particular case. They just barely got by the guard. I mean, they were carving to make sure they didn't hit the outside guard.
This is a team that Laws, anyways, that has had several big ends this event so far. A couple 3 spots in their game against Richards and a 2. Big 3 spot against Reese Hansen as well. A 5 spot against Nancy Hansen. So lots of scoring ability in this team, and you see the ends shaping up for that, but just a few shots short or half shots short. Taking a quick look at some of the other quarterfinals in action here on the women's side. June Gim up 1-0 over Graceland Richards. 1-0. Eubene Park is up over Carrie Anderson. And the Chinese team in Rui Wang is up 2-1 over Tabitha Peterson, the side from the States. We see lots of action here at the Saville Center, one of this country's best, if not the best, curling facilities. Open year round, of course, a 10-sheeter. And of course, you can watch all of these games on this YouTube channel. We bring it back here to sheet 2. So something to attack here with how short this guard is and how high that redstone is in 12-foot.
And it is their own guard. That's the reason they're allowed to play this. I mean, you could risk it if it was the other team's guard. If you leave it on the center line in play, you're okay, but you can always make a play on your own guard. So this is still just the 5th stone of the end. So the free guard and the no tick zone in play, but doesn't matter when it's your own stone. I still see people that aren't sure of that at the club level.
Yeah, you make a good distinction there. It's important to know for sure.
Well, it wasn't that the rules have evolved over the years, but under the original 3 rock rule, you couldn't peel your own either.
Right.
I think that was the one. We've had 3, 4, 5, and it's going back 20 some years now, and it might be close to 30 years actually for free guard zone altogether.
Yeah, every adjustment, every addition of the rock, you're right, has had those little tweaks to the rules that I think people, they just carry over and they don't necessarily consider it. And obviously the tick is a whole nother addition of that. Lindsay Burgess, a gold medal winner at the World Juniors in 2018. Trying to rip both these yellow stones as now the free guard zone is not in effect, and she makes the double, rolls just ever so slightly over to the right there, as we see in the left pane. A really nice shot.
Yeah, it's a corner guard now. That's exactly what they want.
Lindsay Burgess, a gold medal winner at the World
Nice
Juniors
delivery.
in 2018.
That's the difference. We talked about it a little bit with the positive set last.
Trying
And
to rip both these yellow
most of these
stones
players
as
at this
now
level, because they play on a
free
lot
guard
of ice
zone
like
is
this,
not
with
in
a lot of
effect,
rocks like this
and
that have
she
that
makes
good
the
late
double,
finish,
rolls
they've
just
learned to throw that little bit of a positive release, but every once in a while, and especially every once in a while on September, what are we, the 6th? 7th, September 7th, every once in a while that little pop gets a little too pronounced, and those rocks will run quite straight. But if you don't, and I don't want to jinx anybody, we don't want to see that this game, but I saw it a couple of times last night. If you don't get that pop, they go hard early, and you just can't hold it. The brushers can't hold it. You have to have that positive release with these aggressive stones.
Yeah, we're seeing ice across the country, not just at the Saville Center, which is a world-class facility, but ice getting better and better in conditions, looking more and more like this at even club level. So just learning that technique and understanding what a mini set can do for you can certainly be of use to curlers at every level. But you're right, at this level for sure.
And the conditions, to have these conditions, it's one of the things that allows some of these fantastic shots to be made. And one more look
Lindsay
at that.
Burgess, a
just
gold.
See it, just that little pop on the release, but she doesn't want to really change the direction, just enough to hold it there. And these players are practicing it that way, because when they play with these aggressive rocks, which they do at most of the events now, I was very involved with the Players Association, provincially helped set it up, and a little bit at the world level when all these things were starting in the early 2000s. And when we did our survey with the players here in Saskatchewan at the time, everybody was still talking about ice. The ice is too straight. The ice is too straight. So it's in that time since then that we've learned it's got more to do with the rocks. There were ice makers at that time, as my understanding, that would condition the rocks. But at that time, it was a closely guarded secret. Nobody, the ice making trade, so to speak, was still very competitive, so nobody shared information. Now it's at the point where everybody talks about it. The manufacturers of the rocks will teach you how to do it, because everybody has kind of agreed that if the rocks will curl, you just have to make the ice flat. And we get some of the greatest shots you've ever seen on these types of conditions with these types of rocks. Before that, the ice makers that weren't, you laughed, but the ice makers that weren't conditioning rocks were trying to do things to the ice that to make the rocks curl, and in a lot of cases what they were doing was dishing it.
Yeah.
So then you really could only play one way. You couldn't get to the wide corner because you were going uphill.
It's funny, we've seen that playing doubles at a few events, just ice makers trying to get that little dish effect. And, you know, it's nice in doubles, obviously, to be able to kind of get into the middle, but when the power play comes out or something, or you have to make one inside out hit, it is just a complete guess. And, you know, you end up kind of like losing games. Well, not like, you do lose games sometimes in those instances during power plays. So yeah, I like it. Ice makers, do whatever you want. Make some weird hills everywhere. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
I'm joking.
I'm getting to the point where if you could put some moguls out there, then that might make it, because I don't necessarily throw them quite as crispy clean as maybe once upon a time like I think you could, but yeah, I say that slightly tongue in cheek, but it's the truth. If the rocks will curl, and nobody thought in those terms for the most part. For a lot of years we thought, well, it's the ice that curls. Well, no, it's not. It's the rocks that curl, which makes perfect sense when you say it. You just have to say it to think about it. If the rocks curl, all they have to do is make the ice flat. And in a curling club, this is a curling club still, remember that is a little bit easier. They have got controlled conditions, the floor, you know, they know their floors. There's still a lot of tricks involved when they have to put it into the arenas, because you've got different issues in an arena than you do here in a curling club. Airflow can affect the ice. You don't know what the floor is like in the first place. I have talked to ice makers here in Saskatchewan when they get into an arena to put it in and they have to rush. You know, they're putting it in a few days before provincials start, and one of the first things they have to do is figure out if there are any high or low spots in the arena.
Yeah, right.
Because for hockey ice, it doesn't have to be perfectly flat, but an inch difference in one corner over the other corner, that's huge in a curling rink.
Team Kaitlyn Laws in their third here. Seen Negevin looking for, looks like a little hit and roll off this redstone. And we'll maybe roll just a little bit too far than they wanted, because I think Grey Withers could just do the same back.
Yeah.
Perhaps some difficult shots here shaping up for Kaitlyn Laws on her last as Grey Withers seeks the deuce.
Yeah, she's got two choices here, and she talked about both of them. I think they've settled on playing the long roll. You could try to Christmas tree it, but you're playing with a very small margin of error if you try to do that. The danger in playing the big roll, because it looks like with where this is, by the time you make the big roll, this is going to be a flat double. If there's no double opportunity for Kaitlyn Laws, she might just try to hit and flop under off that stone at the top of the button. If you Christmas tree it, she doesn't have that option. But you don't want to leave a double either.
Big pop there from Clifford. You see Cinnamon just trying to keep this straight as far as she can.
They were looking for the big roll. They got the big roll. That's what I mean. No double now. That rock's deep enough. You can't come off that stone.
On the back end for Team Laws, just focusing on removing that red stone, maybe getting a little flop in. I think if they play the right weight, I think you can, right?
Yeah.
It is a low guard, but we've seen the finish on these rocks if you throw the right weight.
Yeah, I think you have to try to get under here, even if, you know, and it's edge to edge. It doesn't look like you should be able to overroll the guard, but maybe you can. We've seen it happen already in this game. But if you stay on the broom side at all, Grey Withers will play the hit and roll to the wide corner. Those rocks are well spread out. Kaitlyn Laws probably going to have to hit one of them and concede the deuce. So you really have to get the roll undercover, even if you roll a little past the guard, because then when she plays the yellow, she's going to group the red stones.
First of two from this fourth rock thrower here, Kaitlyn Laws. Something nice and precise here. Focus play down the middle.
This needs to curl.
And this one will get just the outside half of that rock. And Sean, that's another example of, I mean, Kaitlyn, but also both teams just being a little bit outside on some of those hits.
Yeah. Well, and she had the nice soft weight, but just didn't get quite enough finish. And that leaves exactly what I was just talking about. Gray Withers could hit. She's not worried about rolling behind the guard here. Rolling behind the guard doesn't do her any good at all. Roll to the wide corner. Kaitlyn Laws is going to have to hit one of the two red stones and concede the opportunity for the deuce. I guess the alternative, she's never doing it in a 1-1 game. You could try to loop one around and try to steal, but yeah, that's not happening in a 1-1 game. I think the viewers at home can likely still see the feed, but we've lost our picture once again. So, if somebody in the chat wants to tell us what happened, that'd be great.
Yeah, please let us know. Serena Gray Withers digs in here for this shot. Again, really putting the pressure on here to get this deuce back and take a lead against Kaitlyn Laws. Again, 3-1 in this event. They've been playing quite well.
I'm going to give away some secrets here because I can watch the YouTube feed too, but we have the little advantage when we've got the production feed and that we're usually about 20 seconds ahead. So when I'm watching the YouTube feed, essentially that's already happened 20 seconds ago.
So you just saw, okay.
Yeah. So if we talk about it like it's live, yeah, it happened 20 seconds ago.
So certainly a missed opportunity in this end here from Gray Withers, Sean. We can talk about that just a little bit, just quickly here. Yeah, missed opportunity for the deuce here, missed opportunity to put some pressure on. But they've been playing quite aggressive. Their shot making has been pretty good. It's just been, just a few shots short.
That can be all it takes, really. It's one shot here, one shot there. We saw it last end with Kaitlyn Laws when she had the chance for the deuce and didn't quite curl up enough on her last one. It's only a single point. That's the downside, I guess, of throwing last is you make a little bit of a miscue. A lot of times that ends up on the scoreboard. You throw in lead second or even third, there's somebody to throw after you.
All right, we might sign off just a little early here as we get our technical situation sorted out. We will be back for the fourth end as this end plays out.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Mowat, Gushu, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at theGrandSlamOfCurling.com. Let's rock!
About the shot that just finished, and the other player's already throwing.
Welcome back here for the fourth end of play, this quarterfinal between Team Grey Withers and Team Laws at the Saville Shootout. As mentioned, lots of other quarterfinals on the go here. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think she had something underneath that rock. She gave it a big spin on the release. Saw that happen once yesterday. I'm trying to think of who it was, but might have been... Can't think of it, but I saw this once yesterday as well. Big spin on the release, and that usually means she felt like it had something underneath it. And if that's the case, that was a great adjustment because she still makes her corner guard.
Really good recovery. There's something to sliding and recognizing that feeling under the rock and having that sense and making that adjustment, because that can really, especially on lead stones this early on, can really change the complexion of an end.
Yeah.
Doesn't change how Team Laws will approach this one, going underneath the low center guard that's in play as Kristen Gordon delivers her second stone.
These ladies are all good players, and they're polite and they like each other, so they probably just say nice adjustment. I play senior men's, and we get a little bit more sarcastic. So after a rock comes down with 15 revolutions like that, after they saved it, we might just yell down, "Best one you've thrown all day."
If you need more pieces of dirt, let me know. I can gladly throw them under your rock. That's not a problem. So this one ran a little deep, Sean, and I guess there's an opportunity here for Zoe Cinnamon to just try to come in and sort of sandwich a little bit with this red stone.
Yeah, and you're never really trying to score a deuce around the center guard with last rock, but you get that rock to the front of the house around the center guard, and you take away the opportunity for the Laws team to use it. You'll try to deal with the center later, but this is your chance to keep them from being able to bury one top of the house. You get one in a good spot first. Probably she has to come down, sit in front of it, and then they can get rid of the guard.
It looks like this red stone will just be poking out a little bit on our screen here. Off here as we switch to Lindsay Burgess throwing. Or sorry, my apologies. That's my apologies. It'd be Jocelyn Peterman throwing. Second.
Can't. It is poking out. You're right. She could make a play on it, but without last rock, you make the play on that, the center guard goes away. So she's just going to try to sit on top of it. This is what I was just talking about. You sit on top of it, and then Grey Withers still shot rock will be able to do something with that center guard.
You saw Kaitlyn Laws there with the heavy clean right away, getting behind the rock, making sure to add a couple feet to it. Certainly does look light. But a really nice scrub to get that just underneath.
Yeah, that's a really good spot. Kind of forces Grey Withers to continue to do something in the middle. She could straight peel the guard, but you straight peel the guard, Kaitlyn Laws is going to put it back, and then it's cat and mouse. You put it back until they decide to make a play in the house. I like the corner freeze. The other shot they might be able to play at some point in time, you play the yellow almost straight back, kind of across the face of the yellow that was just thrown. And because of the drag, that red might go back to the stone at the back of the house. Now, you're not going to play that this early. You'd like to set up a better angle in the house. And that's what the goal is here. And this is a long ways out.
Big carve here coming from Catherine Clifford, who switches to that weight sort of style of outward sweeping. And they do bring that in.
Yeah, that's a pretty good spot. You didn't want to be dead in line that one because it would have left a sandwich on that yellow where it just wasn't going anywhere. They needed some angle. Would have liked to get right down to the corner, but they had to wait for it to start curling. these situations are always fun to watch. Or at least for me, I mean, maybe it's a little more tense for the fans at home, but it's all about jockeying for position with the angles in the house. You won't see anybody make a big weight shot until they feel like either the angles are bad against them and they need to bail out, or it's everything's good for us. The only rocks that are leaving are the oppositions.
Yeah, both teams, I mean, playing with a bit of fire, but
yeah,
forced to a certain extent, just with the pile that they're seeing.
Well, it's, get a good angle, and both teams are thinking aggressively at this point in time. If we can get the angles in our favor, even that's pretty good. I mean, their shooter's not in quite as good a position as they would like, but now that red, yellow, red combination in the middle, I don't think you can hit that yellow hard enough to make it go away.
It looked like a hit on that yellow.
It looks like there's room.
Yeah, it didn't look like she was calling for a whole lot of weight, Sean, just sort of like a little flop. Oh, never mind. It looks like they're maybe going to double peel.
Maybe.
Or just run that straight back.
Well, running it straight back, that's all you're killing is a red one.
Yeah. Lindsay Burgess. Big weight shot down the middle regardless, as it just hangs onto the center line here. Little curl over, and she will stuff it. How does that change our angles here, Sean? You're the angle expert.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure what she was hoping to get out of that when she put the broom down. So Grey Weathers is shot rock, but the danger rock right now for her really is that yellow that's sandwiched in between the two reds, because no matter how hard you hit that, whenever you hit it, I'm pretty sure the only rock that's leaving the forefoot is the yellow one. I mean, they're not dead lined up, but it's going to drag back a little bit. I would have been tempted to try to throw something to break that up. Even if she had hit the open yellow stone and just tried to wick the red on the way by just to break up that freeze. I'm not sure what she was hoping to get out of running that.
First of two here from Selena Negevin. And that will curl up to be almost in line with that yellow in the top 12. And Grey Withers goes instantly up to those stones to get rid of them.
Yeah, now this is bailout. And you're going to lose the back red one, but it's the other side of the sheet. The outturn side is, because of where the red guard is, there's not really weight of the button on that side. You got no way in on the intern either. She's got to clean some things up here. You double the top two yellows. You want it to catch the red on the way by and at least alter those angles. Now, it's quite possible a yellow's going to be shot rock after this, but you need a way in.
Clifford with some big weight, and will just nudge that second stone as that yellow goes into the other sheet. So now there's...
Yeah, I'm still not sure that's good.
Yeah, right.
She needs to break that freeze at some point in the time, even if it means losing her own stone. Does mean this guard has to be a little more precise.
Quick shout out to everybody watching this morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. And we have a couple YouTube comments here. A couple Laws fans, looks like. Lots of games in action, but you've certainly picked a good one. Two really exciting women's teams in this country.
It's going to have to curl if she's going to cover it. I don't know if it's got enough steam left.
No, it doesn't quite.
No. Now the tricky thing is it's hard to, again, you have to break that freeze. You'd love to do it with quiet weight and keep your red in the back, but tough to do that with a port that narrow.
So it looked like the initial call there from Serena was just a bumper weight, board
Yeah.
weight, and just sort of push that red to the back.
Yeah, depending how thick you hit the first one, you could still lose the red at the back. In a perfect world, you'd love to be able to just, at least I would, chip that red, the top red, hit half or a little bit less, roll your shooter to the wide side, and then move all three of those rocks in the cluster just so that the lineup changes.
Yeah, right.
But I
then
don't.
you might be able to run your shooter back into the yellow.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like heavy draw, but
Yeah.
I don't think you can make that port with heavy draw and hit it off center. So she's got to throw this bumper weight. This is dictated, like, you have to break the freeze. So if that's the weight you have to throw to get the line you need, then this is the weight you're going to have to throw. If you lose the back one, so be it. You have to change that angle.
Catherine Clifford's final stone here. Throwing vice rocks. Big carve here. They can afford to get a big chunk, carving all the way. It's a decent sweep. Now it does change the angles.
Yeah, it does.
Is that yellow accessible though? In a easy way, I guess.
Red onto yellow, the one that was just thrown. Now you probably have to throw the other turn, or you could run the red guard into it, red into yellow.
But of course, Kaitlyn Law is still to throw.
It is, but that's the uneasy thing for her too. Like, you could guard the run back, or the short run back, the one on the 8 foot. But if you guard that, she's got the angle in on the guard, and then you're guarding 3 red ones. So it's like, well, if I guard this, are you going to make that shot? And if you're going to, then you have to look at something else. You're looking at coming around on the in turn side. I was wondering if you could make it on the out turn.
Oh yeah, right.
You come around on the in turn side, and it's just lining everything up where she makes the port red onto yellow. That yellow is going to be coming back towards the one you're about to throw. If you could get around on the other side
and just be like into the 4 foot on the out turn side, basically.
Yeah,
right?
you need to be, biting the button. Even back 4 would be okay, because you don't want to leave it where it's going to leave a double. If you're side by side with the yellow, dead behind the red guard, a nose hit on the red then kills both yellows. Regardless of what she decides here, rock placement is going to be critical. There is, I think, what they're looking at now. Could you get that red out and roll just a little bit as we look at Jocelyn Peterman's back? So roll just a little to the left on that screen and leave everything overlapped again. And that might be possible.
Regardless,
tough shot.
Most certainly, the 36-year-old from Winnipeg here, Kaitlyn Laws, the 4th thrower, dealing with one lonely yellow in the 4 foot. But it looks like that is the call, is to try to come down and just sort of tick off that red, eh?
Well, I think she's going to hit the red in the 8 foot, and she's looking to get just past the nose and then flop over and overlap the 3 stones in the 8 foot again.
Right. Which would be a pretty good shape if she could get there.
Yeah, it's tough. Boy, if you're really greedy, but she's not going to be throwing this real hard. If you could ever just also rub that yellow on the way by and put it all the way in behind the guard.
Hey, look, if you have a greedy idea, Sean, just share it. Don't need to qualify it. We want to hear it. We want to hear it.
I mean, that's tough, but they throw these with such quiet weight. They know they can control the line pretty well with the brush. It'll be in the back of the mind, at least, that, boy, if we could ever rub that on the way by, it'd be great.
Big carve needed here.
So this might be a little more than a rub.
And they kill their own stone in the 4 foot, and suddenly red is sitting 2nd and 3rd. Or sorry, my apologies,
Red.
1st and 2nd.
Yeah.
Wow, what a change in fortunes in this end.
Yeah, she had to get by the nose on that one.
Perhaps seeing a bit of the aggressive play calling here for Gray Withers, thinking, can we just try to add another one into the 4 foot here first? Really apply
Well,
the pressure.
And if I don't know if she necessarily even needs to be 4 foot on this full 8, you get all the way to the 4 foot. Kaitlyn Laws follows it down, sits on top of it, and those other 2 reds are eliminated. I think part of the reason you almost have to play this draw, because if you don't, Kaitlyn Laws is forced to.
Yeah. Because I guess if Laws makes the outturn draw, Serena Gray Withers might have a double.
Might have a double
off of it, or a triple maybe.
Yeah.
Like might just have a big hit just to get rid of them all.
You're right. You're right.
So this is certainly the safer half of the sheet to draw to for Laws. So Gray Withers aptly taking it away. Really exciting near 4 ends here so far in this quarterfinal. Lots of rocks in play, lots of action, a few misses and a few great shots. That's September curling for you. Gray Withers with a chance. A little clutch.
I didn't like that
8 foot or
head shake
4 foot draw. It might be a little wide, but wide's good.
That head shake when she let go just made me think she wasn't happy with the throw. Well, if she wasn't happy with the throw, she's awfully fussy, because that's pretty good.
Now that came right biting the 4 foot, and suddenly that intern side looks quite ugly. So Kaitlyn Laws with really no other choice but to come in on this outturn side. Now, Sean, we talked about the draw, but
well, I think she's
getting that redstone.
Yeah, this is about reducing the damage. I think hit the redstone, roll to the back of the 8 foot, and lever the draw for 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be possible to roll flat enough to get a piece of the 4 foot, but not with quiet weight, I wouldn't think.
Kaitlyn Laws' final stone, an intern going inside out. We've seen teams get fooled by this line this weekend. It's certainly a little tricky. We've seen it run straight. We've seen it over curl. But the skipper has her line.
Has to roll not just dead in behind the red. I think she needs to overbury it here, because if you just dead in behind with the amount of finish there is on this ice, Gray Withers can come down, just needs enough weight to move it maybe a foot, and it would be for 3. So she needs to roll probably 3 feet here anyway.
Peterman keeping this straight, keeping the broom down. It's really powerful. Obviously, it helps to have the internet that they have and the cameras they have, because it looks pretty crisp. But
yeah, I mean, upload speed's always an issue when you've got video. So to do it on an open club stream when everybody there is sharing it.
Yeah, I know. It's a little risky.
Hey, I think we're up and running.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, it does look like we are back online. Thank you so much for those being able to tune in this early. Quickly refreshing, obviously. So as you can tell from the scoreboard, and thanks to Connor there just updating us in the chat, Serena Gray Withers drew for 3 in the 4th end. We'll quickly recap this before joining in on the 5th end here. But I just really want to quickly get your thoughts, Sean, on how that end progressed. Missing that hit and roll, obviously Kaitlyn Laws in a really difficult spot to limit the damage, but just was unable to do so.
Yeah, we didn't get the chance to see it, so either she nose hit it or she rolled too far. Either way, left the draw opportunity. I have to think she rolled too far. She'd hit it on the nose. Probably would have been easier for Gray Withers to make the hit. She plays the draw, gets her 3. She was in great shot shape, though. Really, it was her first shot that set it up. She couldn't have walked that draw down much better. She's sitting 3. If she's even 3 or 4 inches deeper, Kaitlyn Laws maybe follows it down, sits on the face of it, and eliminates those other 2 redstones. It was up high enough. I guess Kaitlyn could have followed it down and held her still to the draw for 3. She only would have eliminated the one at the back. And it took away the draw path on the intern side, which was the more natural way to get in. That was a great draw from Gray Withers to set up that end.
And now looking to present here with the fifth end, and Gray Withers with her first. Now, Laws does have the hammer. They are sitting 2. It looks like they're just going to try to remove this rock that's at the back 4, trying to limit the damage here as well and make a difficult shot for Laws. Going to be by the guard too. This looks pretty nice.
He's going to get by the back one.
Oh, excellent shot. Really well executed.
Critical there to make sure that they didn't jam it at the back. It wasn't so much a matter of staying buried, but you jam that, you're going to roll into the open a bit, and Kaitlyn Laws might have had a chance to get her 3 right back. Now for Kaitlyn Laws, she doesn't want to stay behind the guard this time. She's got to roll into the open. She wants to make sure she's got an open shot for her last one. Roll into the open. Gray Withers is going to have to hit it. You'll hit it back and get your deuce.
And it looks like everyone's sort of trickling back into the stream. Welcome back. As mentioned, Gray Withers scores 3 in the 4th with that open draw to get her triple.
Yeah, we were probably down for about, 6 or 7 minutes. Marty and I had a chance to talk about everything we know about the internet. We still had about 5.5 minutes to fill.
I don't think we really we just talked for a long time. I don't think we figured anything out, but we were talking.
No, well. There's somebody watching the stream thinking that's all we do anyway.
It's Kaitlyn Laws coming down to this red stone here. Let's see, Peterman looking to carve this over. It looks like it's out there. And it comes back good. Nice and easy, and make this double obviously impossible.
Yeah, the one on the corner on the other side's pretty much fully buried anyway, so she just hit the open one, concede the opportunity for 2. It still has to be made.
I appreciate everyone's patience coming back to this game. Gray Withers coming down for her final stone in the 5th. Really good start to their quarterfinal here. Lots of other games going on. We have China's Ru Chang and Tabitha Peterson. They're tied at 3. Chinese side with the hammer going into the 5th. Carrie Anderson with 2 steals back-to-back, now up 3-1 over Eubene Park. And in the other quarterfinal, Unju Gim has the hammer but is down 3-2 to Grayson Richards. Richards put up a 2 spot in the 5th. Winner of this will move on to the semifinal later this afternoon. And that is a nice, easy hit there for Serena Gray Withers. Looks poised to give up the deuce, but Sean, they've certainly played well enough to have a 4-1 lead at this point in the game.
Yeah, they have. Big end for them last end, getting the 3. And, you hate to give up the bounce back, but the other side of it is this is the 5th end. It's the odd end. They'll be happy to have the hammer on a 1-point lead playing the 6th. They just weren't going to take any chances of giving up anything more than 2 this end.
So final stone here for the 4th thrower on this team, Kaitlyn Laws, and its namesake. Outturn hit and stick to get 2 points back. Gordon just keeping this straight. Looking just a little inside. Oh no, they will need to carve it again at the end.
Has to hold the shooter here.
And they do just that. So Kaitlyn Laws puts 2 up on the board in the 5th. We will be right back with the 6th end here at the Saville Center.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Hello and welcome back to the Saville Shootout at the Saville Center here in Edmonton. It is quarterfinal time here. Watching this matchup between Team Serena Gray-Withers and Team Kaitlyn Laws. So we saw Laws getting that deuce there in the fifth end. Marty Thompson and Sean Joyce with you. Sean, I know we just sort of briefly touched on it there off camera, but how the strategy may morph and how it may change a little bit in this end, considering that Serena Gray-Withers does have the hammer now, and they'll have the hammer in the eighth. Obviously, that even end advantage, obviously with a 1 point lead.
Yeah, and I was wondering already if Laws might be thinking double center here in the sixth end just to try to force the play to the middle. And if she could get a steal, you're right back to even playing seven. That's a pretty good spot to be in. She certainly doesn't want to let Gray-Withers dictate this end and try to get her deuce in the even end. You could be right back to 3 down. They did throw the first guard tight, didn't quite touch the center line, and that Redstone sliding all the way through the back makes it a lot easier to try the second guard. Got to get to this side of that line, though.
They got it.
Yeah, they got it, but they didn't line it up, and neither one of those stones is touching center. I'm a little surprised she's not trying the tick, because that tight guard is a dangerous stone. And
yeah, we can just see from this angle just a little bit of daylight between that yellow stone and the center line.
It's one of the things that the no tick zone has done, though, is because now you don't get to play that shot as often. You maybe just don't feel as confident with it. It's not as well practiced, even mid-season. And we're also talking about September. I was one that, and I'm still on the fence about whether or not that was the right way to go with the rule. I like the tick shot because it's a skill shot that involves all 4 players. If you don't sweep it right, you can't make that shot. So I hated to see such a skilled shot taken out of the game, but it has had some unintended consequences and things like this, because you don't play it as often, you don't have the same level of confidence with it, and the percentage, teams were making it pretty often. Now, because they don't get to play it as often, when they do play it, they don't make it with as high as percentage, because it's not, the repetition's not there.
And it's maybe not a shot, the sportsmanship still plays such a big part in this game, but it's one thing to kind of go out there and, do you really want to sit there and be like, is it on the line? Is it not on the line? Sometimes you just think, well, let's just keep the momentum going. We're playing really well. Let's just sort of focus on what we can do. Now this one will come in pretty nice. Kaitlyn Laws, really good addition to this sweeping tandem here. She brings us pretty tight to the red stone.
Yeah, you could play the double on the 2 yellows, the one that's tight to the rings and the one in the rings. That long guard by itself isn't guarding anything on ice with rocks like this. That's why you need to get those lined up. The purpose of the long guard isn't to guard anything in the rings, it's to guard the tight guard. And it's not doing that right now.
meeting here as Zoe Cinnamon comes down, and I apologize, that is Clifford that's coming down and having a quick chat. So their eyes are directed to that super high guard.
Well, I don't think they're looking at the high one at all. This is probably the right call. It just, because you're running a yellow that's towards your own red, it's a little nervous call. But it's, if that red wasn't there, you'd expect to make this double all day. It's just because the red is there, you're probably a little nervous about running it that direction.
So Lindsay Burgess settles in here. Big weight. Remove some yellow stones here. Team does have the hammer in the 6th. Just off nose.
A little thin on the first one.
They do jam it. So Negevin electing to come right down to that red stone. See their coach there, Marcel Rock, watching from behind the glass. I think we've spotted 3 out of the 4 of the Furby 4 behind the glass so far in this event. Piper was there yesterday, Netawin as well. There's Netawin's daughter Alyssa, plays for Team Plett, took on Team Grey Withers yesterday.
Probably should point out that Marcel's got the headset on there. No, he's not listening to us. A lot of these teams at the high level, when they've got the coaches involved, will wear mics. It's not a two-way mic. He can't talk to the players, but he can hear all the conversations that go on. And it's a great tool because you get so used to, as a viewer, watching some of these high-end televised events where you've got mics on the players, and you get to hear all of the thoughts that go into every decision that gets made on the ice. And as a coach, that can be valuable information to have when you go do your post-game assessment of what happened out there. And this is just one more way to do it. They've got the equipment, so the players wearing mics that only Marcel, and I think he's got an alternate up there with the headset on as well. They can hear all the conversation, and it helps them be prepared for that post-game discussion.
It's a lot easier to review some of your communication immediately afterwards as well, and being able to compare what happened in the communication versus what happened as a result. Just a lot easier to manage that type of conversation, as opposed to kind of being an abstract, something happened a week later or something, right? It's not as fresh in people's minds. So a little hit and roll here. So Grey Withers are sitting 1st and 3rd. Quick little conversation behind as we see. This team is up 4-3, playing quite well against higher ranked opponent Kaitlyn Laws. Now for this side here, out of Winnipeg. A bit of a dilemma.
Yeah, you can't really afford to give up the big end here. If you ignore that 3rd stone and something goes wrong, 3's in play, 2's already in play. They are looking at playing their own yellow onto the red, then roll across and get the other red. That's great result if you make it, but that's the conversation. Is it's risky.
Yeah, what happens if you kind of just stuff it and your shooter rolls just like a little bit closer to that red that's in the 12-foot? That's not a bad scenario either, right? It might even be out counting it, maybe.
Yeah, if you're sitting 2, it's great. If you're still only sitting 1 and Grey Withers has second shot, that guard is so long. I mean, it's in the picture. Well, it's in the one picture. It's not in the overhead, but it's you could easily get to a nose hit on that red stone right now. If actually, you could probably do it from the out turn for that matter. with hack weight. The guard's not in play. The only thing the guard stops you from doing, I guess, is throwing big weight at the red stone. Well, this is really aggressive. They're not looking to kill either red stone.
Oh, wow.
But it might be the best way to get a rock into a good position. I think with that ice, it's the tap on the yellow.
Folks at home should be reminded that this is not yet skip stones, despite the discussion, as we have Selena Negevin going down to throw. Certainly a big end for this team. Down a point and down in that hammer advantage, as we mentioned.
Well, kind of, sort of, it is skip stones. Because Selena Negevin is skipping.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. I keep getting that mixed up. Sorry.
Well,
I'm trying.
I'm getting really technical with that, but she is
no,
throwing.
I appreciate that.
She's throwing the third pair, and Kaitlyn Laws throws the fourth pair.
No, I appreciate that distinction, Sean. You're correct. So just wanting to come down and add a Yellowstone in now. Peterman with the broom down right away with that heavy clean. I don't think they like to wait right away, but that may change.
They kind of had to go for a line. If she's going to tap this to Frozen, she's got to stay a little bit on the outside.
That's a pretty good outcome, no?
I almost have to wait until we see what happens with the next one.
Yeah,
Did she leave her enough room to make the double on the yellows without killing the red? And she might have.
Maybe
just, that's why she wanted to be just a little bit more on the outside. You wanted to tap that yellow directly onto the red. It's the reason why she couldn't play the come around from the other side too. The yellow was in a spot where you play the out turn freeze. You could have left a double on the yellows. She was trying to tap that, leave everything on a line, and there'd be no double. Now it's over the top. She does have to go over the top to make the double here. You might lose the shooter, even if you make it.
Clifford has been making so many hits this weekend already. Been really a highlight for this team.
This is way inside what she wanted.
But they did end up jamming that yellow, which is a good thing too, right?
They called the sweep off because it was, once you were going to hit it on that side, you were actually better off not hitting the Yellowstone. You would have lost your shooter. Or, pardon me, lost the shot rock.
So back to where they were. See Selena Negevin throwing third stones for this team. Looked like the first call there from Laws was that sort of like the hit the red and roll the shooter in towards the middle.
Well, and I like that now. The angle in the house is, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. You could hit and roll back to leave the yellow red in a line, and then it becomes a problem for Grey Winners again. And you're still reducing the potential if this end goes wrong. Hate to leave red ones laying around. She gets a force here, she's okay. Doesn't want to give up two. Steel's not out of the question yet, just because there's a cluster of rocks in the 4 foot. Now she's got to change some things around yet, but there's still 6 rocks to come.
Selena Negevin settles in here. Winnipeg native, runner-up in the trials 4 years ago.
They talked about just rolling Levy's line up. I wonder if you could roll a split center, kind of Christmas tree the yellows. There's no way to get either one of them out without losing the red, I don't think.
Christian Gordon keeping this rock straight. And looks like they'll get a minimal roll off of it. So now Grey Withers, do they try to come underneath and try to pick off that yellow stone?
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thought. My thought is you try to play it hack to bumper, get the roll under cover, and rub that red wide to the corner. So keep your shooter for shot rock and move the other one out from behind the guard. She did call bumper weight. That might be what she's looking at. The danger in trying to have the yellow one clear the red is you might roll over far enough to leave a double.
Second and final stone here from the great Withers Vice. Clifford. Really trying to bring this over.
Yes, got to get a
Don't
little
want to
inside
bump your
the
red
list.
out.
That was the shot I was playing. Yeah. Would have liked to actually move the red a little farther than it did. But her shooter's in a great spot.
Really puts the pressure on Laws again on her final 2 stones.
Yeah, didn't push that red as far as I thought it would go. If it goes farther into the 8-foot, she doesn't have a chance to hit and roll back in for shot. Now, even if she makes it, she's going to be back 4-foot. Critical to be dead lined up behind that red. If you leave her room on either side to push it back, she doesn't need to move it very far to sit 2.
Kaitlyn Laws, the 4th thrower on this team. As we approach the 4th set of stones in the 6th end here in this quarterfinal. Lots of pressure heaped on Kaitlyn Laws so far in this game. But she is one of this country's best throwers. Looks like it's curling a little bit on them. Settled in. Now can they get some decent movement on the roll in? They do.
Not enough.
But it is open.
And now she can roll a little wider to the corner. She just bites the edge of the 8-foot to sit 2. It's real hard for Kaitlyn to roll into shot rock position.
So if she makes that hit and roll, it's open, maybe sitting second shot. Does Laws hit it and try to give them a deuce, draw underneath?
That's the question, isn't it? And I wonder, the other option that might be there, they'll talk about it. It'll be one of those ones where they look at all the options. Because that guard is so long, can you get to that stone at the top of the 8-foot?
Yeah. We know how much those rocks curl, that kind of, hack and even in the board, but obviously those heavy draws, the rocks can curl. And as you said, we can't even see that high guard in the right side of our screen, so it just shows exactly how high it is. It's maybe only just a few inches off the hog line.
Well, if Gray Withers makes the good roll to the corner here, any kind of hit on the open rock is just going to concede 2. On the 6th end, if you're going to go down 3 after 6, your odds aren't great. Now this has got to stay in the rings though.
And it's heavy, quite a bit of weight, and it will roll out. So maybe a little bit more weight than was anticipated, and it maybe just kind of got away from them. Regardless, we see Kaitlyn Laws looking at maybe drawing it behind.
Yeah, I still thought they'd discuss whether or not they thought they could get to that red stone. They're going to try to draw to the back 4-foot. This is so tough because if you make it, again, you're going to the back 4-foot. Serena Gray Withers could try to come down and move it for 2. She only has to throw 2 feet more weight than what you're throwing.
Yeah.
To get anywhere close to it.
Yeah, this is high risk.
Well, the nice thing about it, though, on the other side of that, if you make this and force her to play that, you're forcing her to play a really tough shot.
Jocelyn Peterman coming down, and
not sure what she's saying. I know with my own teams I've had in the past, whenever the second came down, usually the first thing he was going to say is there any way we could give up 3 doing this? That was all he was worried about.
The decisions were made to call a timeout as we have Marcel Rock coming out, as well as Gordon coming down to assess, I think, not only what shot they're going to do here, Sean, but also, their position in the game. We mentioned off the hop, this end really, this is such a crucial end for them, considering the score. How they play this will be quite crucial.
Yeah, if you play the outturn and could get to that red stone, push it through, you've got the force. That's still not an easy shot. It's a difficult shot. I mean, it's there. We know it's there on this ice, but it's not going to look great from the hacks because it is guarded. It's a long guard. You know it's there. You just have to believe. To play the come around, you're also keeping the steal alive. You play that hit on the red, you don't expect you're ever stealing that there. She's going to have the whole 8 foot to draw to.
But as you mentioned, it's just throw it 2 feet more and you negate that shot entirely.
Yeah, that's the problem with it. To bury, you probably have to be behind the tee line. And then if you leave any piece of it exposed at all, she just throws the heavy draw, follows it down, taps it 2 feet, and it's still a deuce.
Also, Marcel Rock coaching this team this year.
And honestly, I don't mind either call. It's play the one you feel confident you can make. But that's a little bit why I was surprised she put the broom down for the draw right away. I thought they would at least discuss both options. And now with the timeout, they've done that. The alarming part of it is she still doesn't look like she's 100% sure which one she wants to play.
How it be sometimes. Just how it be.
Well, the good side of that, sometimes it's a case of, well, I maybe should play the tap back on the red, but I feel really good about making the draw. And that's not such a bad thing if you feel you can make the shot. This looks like she's trying to play the red, and she's trying to do it from the intern side.
They must like the look the Rock will have over the center line too, just digging in and maybe just coming over just a little bit more. Because it does look like, at least from our screen, that it's slightly under-buried that way, but...
Yeah, well, what I'm looking at is you have to make sure you kill it if you're playing it this way, because your shooter's going to roll to where you could leave a double on the 2 yellows. If you're playing it the other way, you could leave it biting at the back 12. You're still going to be sitting 2. Here, it absolutely has to leave the rings.
Final stone here for Team Laws. Down 1 without Hammer. Trying to apply some pressure to this hometown Edmonton team at the Saville Shootout. Intern attempting to bump that red stone. Might be running a little wide. Big carve here needed.
She's going to get to it. It's just a question of how far. Not very far, I don't think.
Can this red get out of scoring position? It will not. Sitting firmly in the 8 foot, and Serena Gray Withers with a draw anywhere to the white to get a deuce.
Yeah, I don't know whether they ever discussed the outturn. They probably felt like they knew that intern side just coming across the center a little bit better. It's been played a little bit more, but you have to kill that stone. You have to throw, that good bumper weight, which is what she threw. Whereas if you're throwing that outturn, hack weight is probably enough because, again, you could leave it biting at the back if you had to. You'd still be sitting 2. This is what they didn't want, was to give her the chance to get her deuce right back and take that 3-point lead into 7.
Final stone here in the 6th end of this quarterfinal. Sweeper's not touching this one just yet. Might be running hot, might be trying to carve this to take some feet off.
Yeah, I think the attempt to carve is you try to get into the middle ice a little more where the rings are a little thicker.
And that is just good enough, it looks like, for their two.
It's 12 feet from front to back on the center line, and she needed 11 of them to get that one to stick for second shot rock.
Maybe 11 and a half. We'll be right back with the 7th end after this. Gray Withers with the deuce in the 6th.
That's life. That's what all the people say.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, custom chaos?
One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster juice, freshly made, your way.
So the 7th end here in the quarterfinal. Gray Withers now up 6-3 over Laws, thanks to that deuce in the 7th. Now, Laws does have hammer. Certainly need to be aggressive in this second to last scheduled end. But Sean, yeah, I mean, Gray Withers certainly full value for how they performed. Even though that draw was a little heavy, but still stuck around. They've certainly been full value for their advantage so far.
And there's, what's the old saying? There's no pictures on the scoreboard. It counts the same in the 12-foot as it would have on the button. It's still 2 points.
A little bit of separation here for Gray Withers in this quarterfinal. Can't say that for any of the other women's teams on the sheet right now at the Saville Center. Rui Wang and Tabitha Peterson. Peterson now up 5-4 after getting a deuce in the 6th, but the Chinese team does have hammer in the 7th. 3-2, Carrie Anderson is up over the Korean side, Yubin Park. And the other Korean team, Eunjun Kim, is in a dogfight right now with Graceland Richards, tied 3-3. Richards, another local team here from Edmonton, does have the hammer going into the 7th. Lots of tight games here.
It'll be interesting to see how aggressively the Laws team wants to play here. And it looks like they're starting out with 2 corner guards on the same side. You know, let's take a look at it from both sides. If you're the Laws team, you know that Gray Withers isn't going to give you any easy shots to get a big end. She'll concede 2 all day. She's just not going to risk giving up anything big. So you think you can get your deuce here, but if you get a deuce here, you got to steal 1 and 8 to get to an extra end, and then you just got to steal the extra end. That's a tall order. So early on in the end, at least, you're going to play a little bit more aggressive and see if you can't get a half shot somewhere or a bit of a mistake and maybe have a chance for 3. The problem with trying these shots for 3 is eventually you might group your rocks, and Gray Withers with 1 good one could take away everything. So you have to kind of make a decision. How aggressively are we going to make the play for 3 when we know we could score 2 all day, because Gray Withers is just going to, she'll happily give you 2 to have last rock with a 1-point lead coming home.
Lindsey Burgess throwing second stones here for Team Gray Withers.
And this early setup, all determined by the rules as they are now. With the free guard zone, you can't go after those corner guards. So when you don't have last rock here, you're trying to protect the lead. You throw everything in the middle into the rings, you know that the Laws team is going to have to deal with these rocks at some point in time. So while you're dealing with the corners, you're hoping they're dealing with the rocks in the middle. Once the rocks are grouped, you're going to have chances for doubles. There's a lot of cat and mouse. It's interesting to watch these ends set up. Selena and Egg have been already looking at, is there a way that we could do two things at once? Clean up one of the reds in the middle and roll to the corner? Do we straight draw?
Yeah. Might be worth it, eh?
Might. You could freeze the pocket on those two reds either. That's why I would... so that the idea to hit the red, maybe you don't want to do that because you're going to drive it into that pocket. The pocket's pretty good right now. That's what Jocelyn Peterman, I think, is looking at. Even maybe nudge that higher red back a couple of inches because they're not dead even.
Could you drive that red back into the pocket and still leave a pocket, so to speak, where the shooter kind of rolls? Maybe not.
Try to jam the one in the forefoot, you mean, and roll behind the corner. With quiet weight, maybe. You don't have to kill anything red. They're going to opt for the straight draw behind the corners. And this is not wrong, but this is what I talked about. It's how aggressive do you want to play? Because you're ignoring three reds in the middle. We're still only on the first or second stone. So you do this later on in the end, and Serena Gray Withers maybe just decides, well, we can't peel them all anymore. We're going to throw the guard, and we're going to force you. So that's always part of the decision making here, is how aggressively do we want to play? At some point in time, you play one too aggressive shot too late in the end, and the other team just switches gears on you. Not going to happen this early.
Jocelyn Peterman drawing behind those two corner guards.
Personally, I always believe on these, you're better off to be deep than to be high too, because if you're behind the tee line, it's not very likely that the other team's going to try to follow you down, and if they do, you're happy with that. But if you're up high like that, you don't really have room to get a second one in there ever in the end.
Stone just thrown is the fourth shot stone.
I'm surprised it took her that long to go out there to peel a guard, to be honest. They're all fairly well lined up so that there's no chance to get two, so you just peel the long one.
Big weight coming towards the edge of the sheet here. Picks out the top one, and the shooter will roll out of play.
Now with that last draw being so high, you can't really do much to get under there again. You probably got to play with that pocket somehow or another. At the same time, Serena thinking, do we have to move something now? In order to bring that Yellowstone back into counting, you're eventually going to have to get rid of three reds.
Quite the collection of red stones.
Yeah, she's just looking at the draw, maybe draw a slight tap.
Skipper Gray Withers certainly does not shy away with putting red stones in and around the forefoot. So again, yesterday Team Plett just managed to kind of outshoot them through the middle of the order, so they really went to haunt their skipper and Plett, but in this case, Law is letting them play with a little bit of fire. In search of this pocket. Does it overcurl a bit on them? Looks like it does.
I think she's okay.
But it does manage to sit nestled between the two reds.
And dead even the two reds. That yellow's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Is it worth it to just try to hit that yellow and try to stuff on one of them?
Maybe, and that's what they're going to talk about.
Risky.
I'm wondering about hitting the yellow on the other side. If you could get to the one in the rings, the shooter might come across and move something on those angles. Even if you peel the guard, come into the one on the top 12 and move it. Did you just talk about possibly throwing a guard? Is our point up there? Seems early in the end to switch gears, but she could.
It's Gray Withers' team quickly calling a timeout, and their coach Laura Walker will come all the way down to the other end of the ice to consult. This team coming off of a big win at the U25 Next Gen Classic Curling Canada event. Won that last week, lots of momentum early on in the season.
Right now, she's got no way to get that yellow out. So the options are you either make a play directly on that, lose one of the reds, and then you have a way to get it out later, or you make a play on the other corner and try to have your shooter come across and disturb those rocks somehow or another. There's two ways to do it. You could come off the guard into the red stone in the 12-foot and push that into the yellow, or if you make a play directly on what is 5th shot rock right now, it could come across and at least maybe move the back red, or you go directly after the ones in the middle. But then you're probably losing one of your own rocks. I don't think you want to throw anything with just back ring weight. You don't want to leave any reds in the back. To warn people a few times through the weekend, and I don't know how much they can hear. There are mics on the cameras, so the viewers at home might have been able to pick up a little bit of that in our production feed. We don't have that audio. I'm trying to read lips, and I'm discovering I'm not very good at it. That's the one problem with the timeouts, because everybody's so close together. They don't start, when you get a discussion from one end to the other, they're usually showing you with the broom what they're going to do, so we know what options they're talking about. Here, because it was a close conversation, it's a little tougher to know for sure.
So it does look like, based off of some of the broom motions we're seeing, hitting that yellow stone,
moving back, it looks like.
Yeah, maybe moving both, just making sure, as you could just tell from Serena how she was sweeping, just making sure you get some separation off those reds.
Yeah, but with that broom, they're playing a little bit of weight. You kill both reds here. 3's in play. I'm not sure that I'm sold on this shot the way they're playing it.
Burgess with that broom down. Maintaining line. Looks like they're adding a few feet of weight as well. So a nice quiet shot. The yellow is completely exposed. Job done, I guess. Broom down.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what they were playing, I guess it's 4 points. I don't love putting shot rock behind the tee line.
Looks like they're adding a few feet of weight as well. Really quiet weight, as you can see on the replay. So a nice quiet shot. The yellow.
You're leaving rocks in play, which helps Kaitlyn Laws right now.
So it looks like she'd be aiming to remove that stone that's in the top 8.
Yeah, maybe get across the face of the shot stone with the back button, try to make the double. You are onto 3rd stones now, and there's now 4 reds you have to eliminate if you're going to bring that red or that yellow on the other side of the 12-foot back into play. Not looking for the double, just trying to stuff it, I think.
And they just missed that one at the top 12. Stuff it they do. Oh, those yellows are staggered.
Yeah, and they're staggered in a way that to play the yellows, there's a chance they jam onto 2 reds. You might have to just pick out the second shot stone. I don't like anything with the weight that's just going to move the yellow back. I think you're picking out the second shot stone here.
We do have our first results in both the men's and women's quarterfinals. Scott Dunham of Philadelphia took down another local team here in Evan Van Amsterdam, 7-3 in 7 ends. A couple steals, looks like 3 steals in a row at the end to wrap that game up. I'll let you know as more teams advance to the semifinals, which will take place this afternoon. So reviewing the angles here, nothing looks too nice for Gray Withers, right? It's really hard to.
Well, she's talking.
You're gonna leave one yellow, right?
Yeah, well, and some of the shot, like she's worried about the stone that was just delivered at the top of the 8 foot, but to play it with quiet weight, I don't think you're getting any of the yellows out of the rings. Granted, you'll have 4 reds in, and there's some work for the Laws team to do, but at some point in time, you have to stop leaving yellows in the rings. She could just hit the back, the second shot rock, roll away. I don't think you're killing a yellow in this way. Unless she can get it out, unless she thinks it'll go out off the red stone. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Doesn't look like it from here, but you do get a different view of the angles from ice level.
Clifford throwing her second stone here as vice for Gray Withers. Plays tight, just does tick that one at the top 12. Now, that probably ended up smudging those Yellowstones in such a way where now they are second and third.
I see a double to sit 4 yellows in the rings.
Yeah, that is
the big end is definitely in. Yeah, that wasn't a good call, and now all the advantages to Kaitlyn Laws. You make this double. Yes, Gray Withers is sitting 1. But 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th belong to Laws. She's dealt with enough of those red stones that the really big end is in play now. That's the problem with leaving yellows around.
Big shot here for Sladen Negevin. You clear out these 2 reds. And suddenly that red stone that is right on the button is awfully lonely. For the double at the top of the house here. Some movement at the last second. Do they get both? They do. And as a bonus, they end up kind of exposing that red rock even more.
You know what? That's a huge bonus, because if she just makes the double, rattles in the double, and stays right there, she's going to have to leave a yellow double somewhere. There's no yellow double now with where everything ended up. You just take a look at where those 2 reds are.
House here.
If she makes the double, sits right there,
the last
there's
second,
at least
a
double
both?
on the
They
stone
do,
at the back 8 foot.
And as a bonus,
with that
they
jiggle around,
end up kind of
she
exposing.
still left the yellow lined up to the red shot rock, and there's no double on the yellows with 4 yellow stones in the rings.
I do think they see the hit on the stone right there to kind of roll it behind though, right, Sean?
I don't think they want to roll behind. They roll behind, it's a run double to sit 4. I think they need to stay right on the nose. They cannot give her a double opportunity. This is, now you're playing with a lot of precision on a stone that you're trying to hit at the back of the 8 foot.
What a change of fortunes here for Team Laws. All the pressure here on this local team. Played so well here through the first 6 ends. Gray Withers her first. Looking to hit and stick, stay on that side of the center line for sure. Really fighting hard to keep this out, and they will get that little roll to sit. Looks like 3rd shot, just.
Yeah, that's pretty good though where it is. You hit it right on the nose. Laws probably hits it on the nose again, and then you can't nose hit again without leaving a double. Pretty risky to
center line
guard.
for sure.
Right,
Sean, lots of precision, and they made it. Lots of precision. Turn her up there. So yeah, now Laws is kind of looking at.
Yeah, she has to eliminate something here because she needs to have a chance for presumably a double to get the big end on her last one. So she's got to kill one of them here. Otherwise, she's going to be looking for a triple. You hit the outside one. Gray Withers just hits it again, and I don't know if there's going to be a shot for a double, so you might have to make some kind of play in the middle, and if you do, what's the play?
All right, is it possible for you to hit that yellow stone, like remove the yellow-red sort of combo, and have your shooter kind of spill over towards that red? To maybe just have something for later, right? I don't, like, is there a way for you just to sort of spread these yellows around in such a way where you might even have a slash or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm looking at the same thing Kaitlyn's looking at. You make the yellow-red, roll your shooter into that cluster on the corner, and you force Serena Gray Withers, so you're just going to basically stuff this one back. It might roll a little bit over, but it's not going to roll very far. Serena Gray Withers will have to make a play on shot rock, and you're hoping she leaves a double.
Kaitlyn Laws heads down to the other end, looking to take her second Saville Shootout title. She won back in 2009 playing with Kathy King, and then in 2012 as well when she skipped. Kirsten Wall, Jill Officer, and Don McEwen on that team.
Saw them indicate they'd like to, so when they make the run yellow on the red, they'd like the yellow to roll over towards that other red. You have to be a little careful. You don't want to hit this first one so thin that you lose the shooter.
First of two here from Kaitlyn Laws. Jocelyn Peterman laboring to keep this straight. And they're lined up sitting first and second. Red is third shot stone.
It's not the end of the world. To make the double, you're rolling out. So I think you got to hit this on the nose and concede the shot for two. Just make the shot for any more than that really tough.
Still a good position for this team considering they do have the 3-point lead, right? Giving up two is not the end of the world. And will Laws go for it?
Well, that's the thing. She might still go for the four. Like, you make the nose hit, it's going to be a whisker thin double, but it would be for four. She might try it. Because again, as much as that's a low percentage shot, you're one down coming home without last rock. That's a low percentage to win the game anyway. You need to steal 8 and steal an extra end.
Final stone here for Gray Withers without the hammer in the seventh end.
She called woe right out of her hand.
Another one that's gone wide, potentially heavy. Really got to fight to bring this back in. Looks good. Do they both go?
Well, no, and she's left the angle better for the double now. She's playing it for sure now.
So a cross-house double, as you mentioned, Sean, the angles are a lot better, a little wider. And this would be for a big score.
Yeah, it's for 4, and it's, whereas if she makes the nose hit, it would have been whisker thin to, you're basically just rubbing the first stone. This is, it's still thin. A little less than a quarter, I would say.
Potential turning point in this game. Gray Withers certainly with the advantage on the scoreboard, but you have to say Laws has been pretty good on her last stones here.
Wow, she's so good at this type of shot too. Plus, this is the kind of shot where this is mentally, you were just hoping for a shot like this in the seventh end, and here it is. She's excited to throw this,
Final stone in the seventh. Deal breaker for this team. Double takeout to score 4. They can stick the shooter. Peterman carves it over.
She's got to hit it.
And they just tick it out. So yellow scores 1. Kaitlyn Laws takes the 1 point. They will be down 2 going into the 8th end. Missed opportunity there. We will be right back after these messages.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Homet, Mowat, Gushue, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at theGrandSlamOfCurling.com. Let's rock!
Agree with us? We are back here for the 8th end. Serena Gray Withers escapes with just giving up 1 point in that 7th end. Sean, I know we were just talking about it there, but certainly a difficult called end from their perspective and looking to rebound, obviously with the advantage here and looking good, but certainly some errors made in that 7th.
Yeah, I thought just tactically they had their timeout early, and then of course the next shot you only get the one timeout now. Had an opportunity to make a Yellowstone go away, and she was more worried about the angle at the top stone and jammed everything. And fortunate to escape with only giving up the single point. It could have been 4 there. And you know it's a tough shot. It's across the house, but it was a very makeable shot. They just didn't have to give that opportunity to the Laws team at all.
We've got some results on the men's side, the quarterfinals. Johnson Tau, another local team, taking down the Dutch side 7-5 in Wouterkuizens in 8 ends. Also, we have a result there. Cameron de Jong, another Canadian, taking on Andreas Hardstad of Norway. They won 5-4, taking a 2 spot in the 8th. Those teams advance to the semifinals, which will take place later on this afternoon rather.
Trying desperately to get that stone back to the center line. It didn't get there. Now, there's a tick available, but if you ever miss the tick on the top one, I guess you could play it from the wide side. You'd hate to tick it and make it better, though. Just got to come into the rings.
Another result here just to report. I think it will impact this next game when Jim Kim took down Grayson Richards 5-4 thanks to a 2 spot in the 8th. It does look like the winner of this team will take on that, or the winner of this game will take on that Korean side in the semifinal. This looks awfully close to just being frozen right on it, and they will be almost there. So Selena Negeman with her work cut out here, calling the game, trying to generate something at the end. Calls for Jocelyn Peterman to draw around here and just try to avoid these 2 red stones. Try to get maybe a little bit of yellow paint.
Yeah, always a tough situation when you need to try to steal 2. Now, the fact that the Reds aren't in behind the guard means she can come to right to the back 4-foot even if she had to. Has to bury this one. You're hoping for a single peel. You bury again. and then you're guarding for your life for the rest of the end. This, yeah, needed that to be a little deeper. You had to have room to get 2. The angle's there to get the double peel, maybe even catch that one in the rings, but you really have to be careful here not to hit this too thick. Yellow onto double the reds would be bad. Straight peel here is fine.
Hopefully not a curse to the commentator as we see
Well,
Burgess coming down.
Yeah, I was a little surprised she didn't just play the straight peel, but makes it.
Ooh, certainly no curse to the commentator. Triple, removing all 3 yellows, and that is such a great result. What a throw from Lindsay Burgess.
Yeah, the steal of the 2 for the tie just got a whole lot harder.
Most certainly. Those 2 red stones now sitting alone there in the rings. There's that corner there as well. But lots of red out in play. And Negevin really just forced to put up the center guard here. We're seeing some movement out there in the ice shed. Just a quick update. Carrie Anderson is up 5-2 in our other feature game against Eubene Park. So this is the only all-Canadian quarterfinal, but Anderson looking to be another Canadian team to advance. Thought this may be a little deeper than they wanted, but still something to work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the center line. There's always the risk of a jam. You force you to play the other turn. I mean, you're up against it right now anyway.
Yeah, beggars can't be choosers, that's for sure.
No.
Burgess with a open hit here, chance to remove another yellow stone to make it 4 stones in just 2 shots. And she will do just that, just getting those reds and getting another red line up for bonus here.
Well, and the nice thing about lining them up like that too is if Kaitlyn Laws is ever going to try to draw around all of those red stones, they're just all lined up to go straight back. So that's why they're looking at moving it now.
And despite that 7th end maybe not being tactically the best game we've seen from this Grey Withers side, Sean, we both can admit that this is quite a game from them, taking on Kaitlyn Laws and really outperforming them, you'd say, over the breadth of the game, and they're certainly full value for their advantage at this point in the game.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Even last end, they kind of made the shot they were playing. I'm just not sure it was the right shot. And it ended up leaving too many yellows around, but you can't fault them for their execution. That was a great roll on this shot too. It's just the 3 red stones, from the hack, it probably looks like there's only 1. They're so lined up. And you could draw around them on this ice, but it's just lined up to go back into whatever you throw back there. You need to steal 2. So they're changing the angles here. Probably looking to just push the stone at the top of the 4-foot. Now you try to push it behind the T line, but you got to stagger the other 2 somehow. You can't leave everything lined up to go straight back. So a little off the nose one way or the other probably works on the first red one, just to stagger the second 2, give you something you can get around.
Negevin. Telling the intern. And this will clunk off that top 12 and roll open, just biting the 4-foot. Selena's old teammate and Carrie Anderson has advanced to the semifinals. They took 3 in the 8th, stole 3 in the 8th. Win 8-2 over Eubene Park. The other quarterfinal we're waiting on is Tabitha Peterson up 6-4 with the Chinese side, Rui Wang. They do have the hammer though going into the final end. As Grey Withers continues to run this Manitoban team out of rocks in the 8th.
This is where it's getting tough. There's just 3 rocks left. Typically when you're trying to steal 2, and it's not tough. Your ways to do it if you can get 2 buried, which, let's face it, that's out of the question. Or you can try to sit 3. And hard to sit 3 now, because how are you ever going to get this rock into a position where it might count and yet is hidden somehow or another? I think they still probably have to do something with trying to move these reds.
Quick carve here, Gordon. They do move them.
Yeah, left it all lined up. Not ideal. It's the same thing. I'm seeing the same thing. She put the broom down as if to just straight peel it. Then I'm thinking, are you sure you want to straight peel it? Maybe you want to kill one of these reds. And you see her tighten up the broom. Like, you catch the red going by. It's probably the best result. I mean, they're lined up, but if one of them's gone, that's probably better at this point.
Let's just pick this out the sides. And Clifford is successful in that.
And disturb the back one a little bit too.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look like there's much choice other than what Laws is intimating to there, just drawing to that wood at the back 12.
Yeah, that's all you got.
Could maybe be in position to maybe be first shot.
Yeah.
If it's perfect, I think if it's perfect.
Yeah. I'm not sure that matters yet. You want to be frozen. If you had to, you've got to play to hit the top one later, if that's what you were left to sit to anyway. You freeze the back one. I guess what you're hoping is she makes a play on the yellow, hits it a little too thick, just squeezes it in behind that red. Then you can draw another one around and at least sit 2.
Turn draw to the back of the house. Kaitlyn Laws.
Would be tempting if you're Grey Withers and she absolutely welds this freeze on to just hit the red at the top of the 8-foot.
Yeah, good point. Just open up the middle.
Yeah, well, and even the back one, like there'd be no place to hide except to go wide around the corner. And if you do, that's a wide open draw. This has got to curl a lot to get to the face, though.
It's late to finish. The weight looks good. It does come over.
Yeah, second shot, but it's hard to get it out. I think you're moving the red. If you kill the red, you only need to make one go away on the last one, and that's not dead frozen. You could easily get it out with your last shot if this redstone's not sitting in the top of the 8-foot.
That's the call here from the skipper.
Yeah. And Kaitlyn Laws will have to make a bit of a decision about where she's going to go with the last one. You could still just go around the corner and give her this shot to blast it out. I don't know what else she's looking at. Whatever it is, I don't like it.
Yeah, certainly a blessing and a curse to have perspective in this sport. Sometimes you sort of see something else and you second guess. And
oh, wow.
But if you got to make it, she's electing to draw right down to the yellow, Sean.
Yeah.
Must trust her draw game. This is also a shot that needs to be pretty precise, but if it's made, it's certainly...
Well, yeah, if it's made,
game
Kaitlyn
over.
Laws is going to have to play the triple, and if she makes it, everything's going to be wide open. But if you're ever a little heavy, if you bounce off, you could actually leave the reds in a pocket. Kaitlyn Laws plays the hit and roll off the top one, and it's still going to be an open draw. So maybe part of the thinking here might be is if we're hitting the top one, we expect her to go around, we're drawing with the last one anyway, so we may as well draw here. Kaitlyn Laws, I think we're in agreement. The red at the top is shot rock, so Kaitlyn Laws has to hit it.
Certainly coming wide down the sheet. Barry's with the chance to try to bring this rock over. It does look like it's running quite a bit wider than Laws's draw.
Boy, you'd hate to rub the yellow and make it shot. Now it came up good at the end.
Interesting.
Oh, she has to play the double now.
Yep.
Can she make the double? You know, she could almost make the double on the reds. So if you drive the first one, hit the second one fairly thick, and it goes across the top of the yellow without touching it, and roll the shooter behind the corner, you wouldn't be able to hit either one of them.
Yeah, good point.
You'd have to throw some weight to make that, but it might be there. And I'm not talking peel weight, like good normal. I mean, she has to make the two reds go away anyway. If she disturbs the one at the back, you know, it is what it is. There was going to be a relatively simple shot anyway. You're going to make her throw it, though.
Certainly this game has come down to its last stones. Anything is possible in this sport. And Kaitlyn Laws knows that, one of the best competitors we have had in the women's game. Certainly bringing that mentality to this game and this shot.
Yeah, has to make the double first and then see where the rocks lie. If she makes it perfect and rolls behind, there's still going to be a relatively open draw. She'll need full 8-foot, but I mean, she was heavy on the shot she just threw. You tighten up the broom, it might be a little bit different path. All kinds of things can come into play.
Final stone here for Team Laws in the 8th end. A double in their sights. This looks like it's going to over-curl. And they do manage to get a decent roll-off at the sit, too. Wow, what a shot.
Left a decent piece of the stone that was just thrown. So if she wants to throw a hit, she could throw it, but the guard's going to be in her eye, or she could throw the draw again.
Awfully close to hitting that shooter taxi coming behind that corner guard, too.
Yeah.
Wow. A little bit more weight.
Well, you watch the replay. Everybody was caught watching the rock at the back. Can we get it far enough? Can we get it far enough? Nobody swept the roll. As it turns out, it's okay. She's going to play the draw. So that fact that they didn't get that dead buried, it's not mattering. Here's where you got to be careful. Now, she was just heavy on the last one, but if she's looking at that saying, well, I can come to either one of those back ones and I'm fine, you throw this a little firm, it rides out there a little long. If you're anything on the outside of that yellow, you roll out. We're playing an extra end.
Spot in the semifinal on the line here for Serena Gray-Withers. Her final stone in this 8th and potentially deciding 8th end of the quarterfinal. Some smart brushing here by Zoe Cinnamon, keeping that broom down.
The line looks better.
They really want to ensure they have the weight, and it does look like it's coming in. And they have done it. Serena Gray-Withers takes 1 in the 8th to win 7-4 against Kaitlyn Laws. We will be out of here shortly, but final thoughts to you, Sean Joyce, on this result for Gray-Withers as they move on to the semifinals.
Well, you know, a couple of things. First of all, they had a solid game. That's got to feel good going into the semifinals. They also just beat, as you said, one of the best teams in the country. They all know who these players are. And early in the season, that's got to be a confidence builder for this team, not just for this event, but as they build for the rest of the season.
All right, for Sean, myself, and Connor Sims on production, thank you so much for tuning in. As mentioned, we have semifinals coming up later on this morning or this afternoon, depending where you're tuning in. My name is Marty Thompson. Thank you so much. We will see you later on.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.